Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice Simple Steps for Showing Up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host. So grateful to be with you. I say this every episode, that same intro, and I'm grateful to be with you. Here's the reality. I am truly that grateful. I am so excited to share these messages that I learn along my journey and my path to try and help influence, promote, and encourage you on your path. And where you focus, you truly do find. I try and aim as much of my energy, attention, influence, and intention on gratitude. That is the number one thing that I place my focus on is my gratitude. The things that I have, the things I get to endure, those things that happen for me. It is because of those things you get to where you're trying to go. That is the rainbow bridge. The trial is it. As I've previously mentioned on other episodes, when you pray for this moving of mountains, a lot of calamity and chaos ensues to make that happen. If these mountains that I lived on were to all of a sudden be moved, flattened, raised, whatever, many people in this Salt Lake Valley would die just due to the sheer destruction of what took place. And in your life, you pray for these mountains to move, and then calamity takes place. It is the calamity that is getting you to where you're trying to go. They are character development experiences. It is these things that is the bridge. So instead of saying, woe is me, maybe you should be focusing on what can you learn from it? How can you apply? How can you adapt? Because you should be changing each and every day. There should never go a day by that you say, I'm the same person I was yesterday. Because the reality is, you're not. You have a new set of experiences. And if you have the same mundane job in a cubicle, guess what? You still have new experiences, new conversations with new people, or new conversations with the same people. They may be similar experiences to what you had. Therefore, you have similar outcomes, but they're not the same. And many people have these similar things, and they're practicing 2 + 2 = 4 1,000 times. They have the same 1 year of experience 20 times over. They don't have 20 years experience. They have 1 year experience for 20 years. That kind of idea, that kind of concept. But as you have these extreme challenges, you grow. We were blessed to go to an old friend's house yesterday. I see them mostly as grandparents, and they are in their late 70s, I guess mid 70s now, mid to late 70s. And I hadn't seen them in 3 years. So basically, this journey that I've been on, I haven't seen them since the start of the journey. So they went from talking about, I'm going to go down this path, to here we are 3 years later, let me fill you in. And it dawned on us how many experiences we had. Because when I first just think about it, I just think, oh, the day to day, we've had this, we've had that. But then I finally realized that I've had a lifetime of experiences in the last 3 years. When we started on this path, I was prayed over for support, for comfort, for a variety of things. And in that prayer, it was stated that I can choose where I'm at and I will get to where I'm going eventually, or I can choose this path that I was looking at and ultimately went down, and it will be acute pain, it will be extreme trial, and I'll get to where I'm going faster because the compression of experiences. So my wife and I chose that path together. We decided to delve down this compression of experiences, compression of acute pain, and all of the experiences therein to get to where we're trying to go faster. And one, having a spouse that supports you and does these things with you is huge. Huge. It makes all the difference. Somebody that unequivocally supports me in all that I do, no matter what it is. I can come home and say, yo, we're pivoting, which I've done many times. Or I'm starting a new thing. Or we have a new plan. When I had a new plan yesterday and a new plan the day before that and a new plan the day before that. She still jumps and says, I'm all in, let's go. We chose all of these things. And going down this path, and I think when we first decided to go down this path, we thought, okay, this will probably be like 6 to 12, maybe 18 months. Well, here we are 36 months later. And we're still going down the path. And we went from when will this end to transforming into gratitude each day. And this is just the journey. We're not fighting for an endpoint. We are experiencing today and extrapolating as much as we can from each day. We just squeeze out that lemon for everything it has to make the best lemonade possible and to create this body of experiences that is me. Because that's all I am, right? Brad is a sound that you make when you want to get my attention. Dad, husband, father, brother, son, entrepreneur, business owner, friend, slave. These are all descriptions of me, but they're not who I am. I am a sum of my experiences, and I am in control of those experiences. And some experiences I'm not in control of, but I'm in control of how I respond, react, and learn from those experiences. So, going down all this, having all these experiences, learning all of these things, I was speaking to these people that we visited the other night, recanting all that took place. We spent about 2.5 hours at their house, and I'm pretty sure I scratched the 100,000-foot level surface. I barely got into anything because I would say, oh, this happened. And they'd say, well, what led to that? Or how did this happen? Or where did that happen? Or they wanted more detail. And then I realized how deep this crevasse really is. And we were talking about a chicken hatching because I mentioned to her there's two reactions I kind of get when somebody asks, how are you doing? How is business? Where are things going? What can I help with? I don't just say things are good, we're moving along. That's a pretty generic answer. I go to a lot of networking events, say, how's business? How are you? Oh, we're good, just crushing along, cruising along, nose to the grindstone. All these same generic, monotonous answers that aren't factual in the least. When I ask an open-ended question and you give me a close-ended answer, that's not what I'm seeking. I prefer to actually answer your question. So I say where we're at, what we're doing, how we're pivoting, how we're growing, and the trials and the tribulations and the wins and the gratitude and all that I'm grateful for with those trials and tribulations. And I get two reactions. It is either A, oh man, I'm so sad. I'm so sorry for you. That sucks so bad. How can I help? It's a very somber tone, very underwhelming. Dang it. I'm sorry you have to go through this. That sucks. It will end soon. Or the latter. And the latter is, I am so excited you're going through this crap. Man, that's basically it. They're just so pumped that I'm going through the hardship, the trial, the extreme stress, anxiety, depression, difficulty that comes along with growing something great. So finally, I was sitting with one of my probably highest net worth friends, and we were at lunch, and he asked, how are things going? How is business? How are things? And I told him. And after a few minutes, he stopped, looked at me and smiled. He said, I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy you're going through these experiences. And so I paused and I said, okay, bro, level with me. Why are you so excited? Because it is the same high net worth friends that have this same reaction. It is the lower net worth friends, either where I'm at, lower than me, above me, but not like these guys, that give me the somber answer. Why are my high net worth friends the ones so excited? What's the deal? And his response, I'll never forget. It is this. He said, I know what it takes to get to where you're trying to go because I've already walked that path and I'm at the end zone. I know what it takes to get to where I am now in all of this success, growth, mindset, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional place point. I know what it takes to get there. and you're in it. He said it makes him so excited because the fact that I'm in it tells him where I'm going, and the fact that I'm walking through it is even more so making it possible to get there. I lost my train of thought. Got interrupted. My little 3-year-old came running in screaming, "Dad." Welcome to life, right? Things come in, you lose your train of thought, you lose your momentum. That's okay. There's a way to pick that back up. So, this friend stating he knew exactly where I was going. He knew exactly what it took to get there. And he was excited that I was both experiencing it and gracefully walking through it. That was a key indicator that told him our path and our trajectory. And then he asked, "What can I do to help?" And I relayed some different ideas, and he kind of mostly shoved most of those off and then said, "I can help in this capacity, potentially. Send me an email with such and such items." I sent him that email and nothing ever came of it. He is actually, every single high net worth person has done that. They have said a potential way they can help and then never followed through with any of it. And I finally realized why that is. You've got this chicken hatching from an egg, right? And if you help a chick break through the shell, they will not gain enough of the muscles that build in that moment to really survive. They can survive, but you really should allow a chicken to hatch itself, to break through the egg and to get out on its own. It is that same instance that these friends for me are doing. They are letting me break down the shell and get out on my own, because it is those skills, those character traits, those muscles that I am building by going through it. And if they help me through it, I will therefore not gain the skills that I would have gained had I done it on my own. Interesting concept to think about. So when you're sitting here and you're rethinking about those friends that either said they would help and didn't, or just flat out didn't even offer, I want you to think about this concept of the chicken hatching from the egg and how much of a blessing it was that they allowed you to go through it. I see this also with my boys. There are so many things I want to help them with. I want to help them up the ladder. I want to help them up the rock wall. And I watch them try and fail and try and fail and try and struggle and fail over and over and over until finally they figure it out and they climb the wall. They climb the ladder. They get to where they're trying to go, and they are so, so, so proud. And they learned the skill to do it again. So they run around the playground and they do it again, but they do it a little faster and a little faster and a little faster. And now they become masters of that obstacle at the playground. And now it's nothing. They went from unconsciously incompetent, meaning they sucked at it and didn't even know they sucked at it, to consciously incompetent. They know they suck at it, to consciously competent. They know they're good at it, to unconsciously competent. They are so good at it, it becomes a non-thought. They don't even realize they're so good at it because they don't even think about it, because it takes that little brain power to execute. This is what those friends are allowing you to do. They're allowing you to gain that unconscious competence in whatever skills it is required for you to get to where you're trying to go. And I'm so excited for you on the journey that you're on. I'm so excited for those that just started, those that are thinking about starting, and those that are deep in the muck, and then those on the other side. Because the other side, you just start another journey. New levels, new devils. You gain harder trials. Not as much physical, but emotional, spiritual, mental trials. They grow in magnitude and they grow in order. Share this episode with your friends and your family. It is the only way it grows. Leave me a message, leave me a comment, leave me a review wherever you listen to this thing. You can find me on socials, Mr. Brad Draper, on pretty much every platform. Like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until next week, I love you guys. Bye.